Alright, so who wants some cheap Nintendo Switch eShop deals? Because that's exactly what I've got for you today. 14 games under $10, or your regional equivalent, covering the US, Canada, UK, EU, and Australia. Now heads up here, it's a weird week. The US and Canada sale is completely separate from the UK, EU, and Australia, so I'll be rotating between them as we go. If something isn't available in your region just yet, my suggestion, wishlist it and keep an eye out. Most of these, they tend to cycle through all of the territories at one point or another. I've also got a $10 eShop gift card winner to announce them later in the video, and one more to give away to enter. Just drop a comment down below and that winner will be revealed next Thursday. And look, before we do get into this, if you enjoy this kind of thing, do me a favor and subscribe. I've been covering Switch now, deals, reviews, all that good stuff for over 7 years. And with a channel at this size, your support, it makes a huge difference. Now, the deals. Lunark is 65% off right now, matching its lowest price ever. And if you're into old school cinematic platformers, think Another World or Flashback, this one's worth a look. Now you play as Leo, a courier with a shadowy past, flipping and rolling his way through pixel art backdrops that range from dystopian cities to alien ruins. The animation is rotoscoped, the movements deliberately stiff, and the vibe is very much retro sci-fi. It's all about style and just pushing forward. Now it can feel clunky at first if you're not used to this kind of platformer, but once the rhythm clicks, it works. I like the characters, I like the upgrades, and yeah, as the blurb says, you can pet the dog, so bonus points. Just don't expect a twisty story with this one. It's solid, but you'll probably see where it's going. Lost Ruins is 60% off right now, matching its all-time low, and if you're into pixel art, this one's an absolute stunner. It's a side-scrolling survival action game where you play as a girl who wakes up in a monster-filled dungeon with no memory and no clue why everything wants her dead. What starts as a simple escape really turns into something darker, with magic systems, elemental traps, and some really nasty boss fights. The combat here is methodical. Swords, axes, fire spells, environmental hazards, all of it ties into how you build your character. You know, maybe you're swinging heavy weapons and poisoning enemies. Maybe you're lobbing fireballs and dodging through ice puddles. It's surprisingly deep, and you'll need to master it because this game is tough. But it's also the kind of tough that feels fair, at least once you understand the rules. You know, you'll start to, I guess, figure out ways to bend them. Again as well, gorgeous to look at this one, and it's one of those games that really makes you stop and just appreciate the vibe mid-fight. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged is down 85% off, a new lowest price, and honestly, it's more of the same. If you played the first game, you're going to feel right at home. Tight arcade racing, insane track designs, and that classic Hot Wheels vibe, just now with a little bit more of everything. The car roster's bigger, the environments are weirder, and the new story mode is genuinely unhinged in the best way. But the real star for me is the upgraded track builder. It's more intuitive, more flexible, and the results are pure chaos. I will add as well then motorbikes and ATVs add a new layer to the handling here, especially with the terrain system that's been added, kicking in on grass and sand. And yes, you can now jump your car, not just off of ramps, but with a literal jump button. So yeah, it's over the top, it's completely ridiculous, and it totally works. If you like arcade racers with personality, this one's a blast. Ultros then is 60% off right now, matching its lowest price, and that's a big deal considering how recently this launched. It was like February. And the game is gorgeous as well, a psychedelic sci-fi Metroidvania where you basically crash into an alien structure and yeah, you get trapped in this looping timeline with a demon god. The art direction though is stunning, so think like cosmic jungle almost. Loads of neon colors, hand-drawn animations. You've got to see it. It doesn't run perfectly, I will say that. There are frame rate dips and moments where it can chug a tiny bit, but I still had a blast with it. The combat's tight and brutal, and yeah, really interesting game. The loop mechanic as well lets you restart sections with these new upgrades. So yeah, basically the deeper you go, the more weird it's gonna get, but you can get a little bit more creative as well with new bits and pieces. Yeah, I think overall, one of the more original indies I've played in a while, and definitely well worth a look at this price. Metal Max Xeno Reborn is 90% off right now, a new lowest price, and while I'll be honest, I bounced off of this one pretty hard myself. The discount here is so steep, I had to include it. It's a post-apocalyptic action RPG with a twist. You're not just trekking through ruins on foot, but also rolling around in tanks, dune buggies, and really anything else that'll survive the wasteland. The combat's turn-based, but with a vehicular spin, and there's party building, upgrades, and a battle dog named Pochi who can tank hits and chow down on stat-boosting treats. Really cool character. Personally, I burnt out on the formula early, but I also paid full price. Looking at £3, it's a totally different value proposition. So if you're into grind-heavy RPGs with vehicle combat and a cult following, there might be something here for you. Batboy is 45% off, matching its lowest price, and this one's kind of a hidden gem. It's a retro-inspired 2D platformer where you battle through dimension-warped worlds using a baseball bat as both weapon and traversal tool. The setup's weird. An evil mage brainwashes your sports team and throws them into this twisted gladiator-style event, and it's really up to you to, get them back to their senses. Level variety, though, is solid, the pixel art is stunning, and the soundtrack is a winner. But I won't lie, some of the mechanics here feel a little undercooked, and the precision isn't just always quite where it needs to be. Overall, though, look, I had a blast with it. It's got style, heart, a surprisingly creative world, and I guess if you're into, like, NES-era action games with a modern twist, I think this one's worth a swing. White Day, a Labyrinth named school, is 80% off a new low price, and while it's not quite the scariest game of all time anymore, as it was once quoted, there's still a lot to enjoy here. You play as a high school student sneaking into school at night to leave a gift, only to get locked in and stalked by murderous janitors and some seriously annoying ghosts. It's a Korean horror cult classic rebuilt from a 2001 PC game, and it leans hard into stealth, survival mechanics, and branching storylines. Now, there's no combat, just hiding, solving puzzles, managing resources, and trying not to get caught, of course. And the scares, they're kind of front-loaded and a bit too obvious after a while, with some scares that just start to repeat constantly. But still, the atmosphere, the stories, the sheer weirdness at times of the setting definitely makes it worth experiencing. And overall, I had a good time with it, and at this price, I think it's a great pick if you like horror games that go all in on tension over gore. XCOM 2 Collection is 85% off and matching its lowest price, and this one is a monster deal. You get in the full base game, 4 DLC packs, and then the massive War of the Chosen expansion all in one, which is honestly one of the best tactical RPG packages just out there. I absolutely loved this game on Switch, even though, yes, visually it cut some serious corners and performance could get rough in places, but the heart of it was intact. That tense, high-stakes decision-making, the permadeath panic, the evolving resistance narrative. And if you're on Switch 2, apparently it's a much smoother ride now with better visuals and improved frame rate, though can't vouch for that. I haven't tested it myself. Still, this is one of my favorite strategy games of the last decade, and this version, quirks and all, it just felt great to play on the go. So at this price, an easy recommendation for anyone even slightly curious about tactical squad combat. New Star GP is 80% off right now, matching its lowest price, and this one's a bit of a favourite of mine. It's the closest we've had, I guess, to an official F1 game on Switch, which still feels like a gap in the lineup in my opinion, but honestly, this feels it surprisingly well. It's a retro-styled arcade racer, yes, but it's got a management twist. You're not just driving, you're upgrading your car, picking pit strategies, and balancing perks with real consequences on the track. It spans decades too, from the 80s to modern day, with a full career mode that just evolves as you progress. On the original Switch, it had a few frame rate stutters here and there, but nothing deal-breaking. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually really need to test this on Switch 2, because I bet it runs way smoother. Either way, look, if you're into old school racers with a bit more depth, I think this one, a hidden gem. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is 80% off right now, and that is a new low price. Now, I went in with pretty low expectations, honestly, but it completely surprised me. It's a fast, tag-based 3v3 brawler with a surprisingly deep combat system underneath the kind of classic IP. Controls are streamlined, combos are snappy, and there's really enough depth here to sink your teeth into if you're coming from, let's say, more traditional fighters. The roster, though, pulls from across 25 years of Power Rangers, including both fan favorites and deep cuts. And if you want even more, the expanded edition that adds a bunch of extra fighters for about a tenner total. So yeah, whether you're in it for the nostalgia or just want a solid fighting game, I think this one is a sleeper hit. Tormented Souls then is 90% off a brand new low, and for fans of classic Resident Evil, this is a turtle steal. Fixed camera angles, creepy puzzles, inventory management, even save rooms with limited use items. It's all here, just updated kind of with smoother controls and some modern polish. Now you play as Caroline Walker, trapped in a decaying mansion while investigating a pair of missing twins, and what starts as a simple search just quickly spirals into body horror, dimension hopping, and some genuinely creepy moments. It is stylish, weird, and unashamedly old school. Now, fair warning, at launch this game was extremely rough on the Switch. There were crashes and basically it broke the game, including my own review. I did mention it, but all of that has since been patched, so do be careful of the reviews you're watching. It's a reason I'm not linking mine down below today. But yeah, thankfully it runs fine now, and if you've been waiting for a proper kind of throwback survival horror experience, this absolutely belongs in your library. Fingers crossed as well, the sequel eventually makes its way to Switch 2. BioShock the Collection is 80% off right now, matching its lowest price, and honestly, this is one of the best bundles on the eShop. You get BioShock Remastered, BioShock 2 Remastered, and then finally Infinite, the Complete Edition. All in one download with every major DLC included. And yeah, these are modern classics, big, ambitious, story-driven shooters with unforgettable settings, the underwater, nightmare of Rapture or the skybound city of Columbia. These are insanely cool locations. Yeah, I'm actually working on a Switch 2 video for these right now because I've been replaying them and they look fantastic. But even on Switch 1, they hold up incredibly well. You can check out my full Switch 1 review in the pinned comment below if you just want that deep dive. But yeah, whether it's your first time through or a replay years later, I think this collection is a must play. It is just an incredible atmosphere. The rating is stunning. And yeah, I think overall these games are, unmatched. Dawn of the Monsters is 65% off, matching its lowest price. And if you've ever wanted a full-on kaiju beat-em-up, this game absolutely delivers. You pick from 4 towering monsters, from the Godzilla-style Megalodon to the mech-like Tempest Galahad. And basically, smash your way through destructible cities in side-scrolling co-op action. It's manga-inspired, filled with screen-shaking finishers, massive boss fights, and DNA upgrades that let you tweak your monster's abilities. I had a really good time with this one. It's got style, weighty combat, and a surprising amount of content. That said, though, not perfect because of the amount of content. That 6-hour campaign does start to drag a little towards the end if you're playing straight through. But as a kind of pick up and play arcade brawler, especially with a friend, an hour here, hour there, it's a blast. And overall, great cast, great concept. Would love to see them, drop a sequel. So our winner of the week then for the $10 eShop gift card is on screen right now. Congrats on the win. Email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next Thursday's video. Observer then is 45% off this week, matching its lowest price. It's our last game of the week as well, because weirdly, it's the only game on the list that is actually discounted across all regions. Now, what is the experience? It's a cyberpunk detective thriller set in a broken down future version of Poland, where you play as Daniel Lasarski, an observer tasked with hacking into people's memories to uncover the truth. What starts as a murder case slowly unravels into something more personal and psychological, blending noir atmosphere with some genuinely disturbing sci-fi horror. This world is incredible. It's gritty, it's surreal, it's completely committed to this concept of invading people's minds. You actually get to explore, and that's where it gets real kind of like wild. So yeah, I'll actually be revisiting this one in my next Indie Switch 2 roundup, seeing if there's any improvements. Really curious to see if any visual or performance bumps are, I guess, down to the new hardware. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, incredible game, and definitely check it out. If you do want to check out 5 indies that are performing, let's say somewhat better, some of them do, some of them don't, on the Switch 2 hardware, I'll actually link that video from yesterday down below. And that is the video down. What will you be grabbing, if anything, this week? Let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy this today, do me a favor again. Subscribe. Helps a small channel like mine a huge amount. And yeah, I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers all.